my name is Ali Narani. This is for my Automotive 11 class. So what we're doing is this is a 2010 Toyota Matrix. So you can see here, this is the engine. We have the hood popped up from the kick at the driver's seat. And we just have it propped up by the stick here. And we're going to be checking all the fluids in the car, the transmission oil, the brake fluid, the coolant, all of that. With me, I have gloves on. I have just the manual with me just to see the layout of the engine for this specific model. And I just have a rag to wipe the dipstick with and the excess oil. So let's start checking all the fluids. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and check the transmission fluid. So we have two dipsticks here throughout the engine. So we've got the engine oil one, and over here is the transmission one. There's a little tab here that you need to pull away when you're checking it or pulling the dipstick out. This is kind of what it looks like. Now I have this handy rag right here that's gonna help me wipe down the oil. And so if you take a look here, there's two gauges, cool and hot. So we're going to do a re-dip to get a clearer reading of where are the condition of our oil. So we're right about there at cool, and that's right there at cool, and that's kind of where you want to be in a good area. So I'm going to put this right back. And so talking about the purpose of the transmission fluid, this fluid acts as both like a lubricant and a hydraulic fluid. It enables gear shifts by transmitting power from the engine to the transmission, and it lubricates all moving parts, prevents overheating, and cleans metal surfaces. Now, the color you're typically looking for when it's brand new is usually bright red or pink. As it ages or becomes contaminated, it turns brownish or even black, which may indicate the need for a change. That's it for the transmission fluid. Okay, now we're taking a look at the radiator here. So the radiator holds coolant, which is a mix of antifreeze and water, which circulates through the engine to absorb and release heat. Maintaining the right coolant level is crucial because low coolant can lead to engine overheating, warping, or even failure. So right here, we also have the coolant. So you can see the sign here that says coolant. And it's right at the fill line, about like 99%. So this is where you kind of want to stand. So as I said, it circulates through the engine and radiator to keep the engine within the proper operating temperature range. It also prevents freezing in cold weather and corrosion inside the cooling system. Now, coolants must be regularly checked and flushed according to vehicle maintenance schedules. So according to your manual, go ahead and understand the cooling levels that are appropriate for your vehicle type. And now let's go ahead and tackle the engine oil in this system right here. So this is the engine. This is the oil cap right here in the dipstick. So in your regular maintenance check, during an oil change, what happens is the overused oil at the bottom gets drained out through a filter, and in an oil change both the oil and the filter get changed, and this is where your new oil will be filled in. And right now we're just going to go ahead and pull out the dipstick and check, or go ahead and have a gauge at what levels we're looking at. So again, giving it a wipe, and you can see here there's two little almost like indent like, and so this is called the minimum line and the maximum line. Ideally you want your oil to kind of show as close to the maximum line as possible, just not over it. So we're gonna go ahead and see where we stand at. So swift dip, and we're just in the middle right here, so about halfway. That's not horrible, that's a pretty good standpoint. And so when we're talking about the engine oil, what this means is that the engine oil reduces friction between moving parts like pistons and camshaft. It protects against wear and cleans debris and sludge, but over time, oil breaks down, of course, and becomes less effective, requiring the regular changes. Now, in this, we probably have about like 6 liters or so of oil, and to know more about it, go ahead and take a look at your manual, and that's that. Now that we've switched sides, we're going to be guiding our attention over here to this compartment right here, and so this is where the brake fluid stays, and this is where you kind of ideally want the fluid to be filled up to. Now, the brake fluid is a hydraulic fluid that transmits force from the brake pedal to the brake calipers or wheel cylinders. It operates under high pressure and temperature and must remain incompressible to ensure responsive braking. It's also hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture over time, which can lower its boiling point and compromise braking performances. Okay, and now lastly, just some key ideas. So right here in this compartment, we have the washer fluid for the windshields up at the top window. And so you can fill this up a healthy amount. And right over here on the other side of the engine, opposing, we've got the fuse box, and everything else is found in the legend. So small areas, so like I mentioned, the radiator, the oil box, the coolant, the washer fluid, and then over here, the brake fluid in the corner. and just underneath this, the transmission oil. And so that's everything that we covered in this video, and we'll go ahead and leave it there. Again, always refer to the manual in case there's anything you don't know, or the oil amounts or the capacity, and that will be it.